Today, it's an unboxing from Fish USA. They just had their 20% off sale, and I had to stock up on some things that I need for the fall. Now, last month I did my first sort of Lures of the Month challenge, and I had a lot of fun with it. So what I wanted to do was look through and say, okay, for October, November, December, what are the lures that I should be fishing for bass, and what do I need to sort of have everything that I should have for the rest of fall. Now, don't take away my avid fisherman card, because I pretty much had everything covered except for one technique. So I do have something new, kind of new for me in here, and most of the other stuff is just some good replenishment stuff. So quick video, but I want to show you, sort of give you a taste of what I'm going to be fishing a little bit more of through the fall. So let's see, let's get this opened. And, you know, if you missed Fish USA's 20% off sale, I don't always get it posted on the YouTube channel in the community tab, but I try to put it in there. You know, when I see different sales, and it's not just Fish USA, but I just like them because I ordered it and 2 days later it's here. So let's see here. Noisy paper. Ooh, looks like I got a new sticker from. Cool, nice Fish USA sticker. So let's see. So, you know, the first thing that I stocked back up on, my favorite BFS jig so far has been the Keitech Mono Spin. You know, this little jig, the ones that I picked up this time, I think I got all 16th ounce this time. But there are days when, you know, things are tough. I remember like last January or February, things were really cold, and the only thing I could get a bite on was this tiny little jig. And so it's called the Mono Spin, I think because originally they thought, well, they're going to downsize it so you can throw it on spinning gear. But it's a great, just wonderful finesse jig with a trailer or without. So I definitely have some of those in here. Yeah, so there's another one. Another one. Okay, now these are trailers for jigs for the most part, but I can also fish these a handful of different ways. You know, maybe Nico rigged or just as a Ned rig. But these are the Zoom Ultra Vibe speed crawls. So one of the guys locally here, his name's Scott, he told me that these absolutely slay in a couple of the creeks that I fish. So I figured I'd pick up a couple kind of fall colors and use those. So the next thing, there's a lot of Keitech in here because when you get 20% off Keitech, I mean, it's a great deal, right? So the next thing is finesse football jigs. So these Keitech M2s, these are, I can get these in 1/4 ounce sizes, which is awesome because sometimes I end up getting, you know, 3/8 ounce in the Berkeley finesse, and they work really well. But just as I get into fall and as I get into things that I want to throw on pretty much every one of my setups, I wanted to get just a little bit smaller jigs, and so I can throw this, you know, at a 1/4 ounce. This is like, you know, 8 grams or so without a trailer. I can throw this on pretty much almost all of my setups comfortably, and so, you know, on some of those days when I'm wading the creek, if I'm wanting to use a lighter setup, it's great to have these as sort of like a little bit more of a power type approach on top of the Mono Spin. I would have got a lot more PB&Js. I don't remember what their colors are, but they only had one left, so I got a few of the different green pumpkin shades as well. Okay, now we get into the one approach that it's kind of new for me. You know, when you get into the month of November, there's a lot of the experts out there that say you should be throwing an underspin. Okay, so first is these tactical bassing underspins from Dirty Jigs. Now these have amazing reviews. The thing is these are $6.50 for one. I mean, you know, a lot of the spinner baits that I buy, which have a lot more going on, are more than this. So I did get one of these to give it a try. Probably won't be throwing this right off the bat in some place that I think has a lot of debris and dirt and stuff like that. But I mean, it does look like a really nice quality product. You know, it's a little bit different. Now, these hooks are a little bit heavier wire gauge too. So I'll definitely, and it's 1/8 ounce to start with. So we'll give that a try. Then I also got the owner ones because they're only $6 for 3 of them. And so it'd be interesting to see, or maybe there's two in here, $6 for two. So these are $3 a piece instead of $6.50. Hopefully, and I'll buy some underspins locally if I need to, but hopefully these will get me through the month of November, I think it is, that I want to do that. The next one is, this is just the Okashira head from Mega Bass. It's a Swimbait head. This is a 1/16 ounce. Supposedly it gives your swimbait just a little bit better action and roll. And on some of those days when the fish aren't biting, maybe this will make the difference. I just wanted to give them a try. These were $6 for three, and that's before the discount. So it was like $4.80 for three. So again, not super cheap, but could make the difference. And honestly, I've fished paddle tail swim baits a ton this year. And I've been using a little bit, you know, more budget oriented hooks because I lose a lot of them. You know, some of the creeks that I fish are less than a foot deep, and there's logs and rocks and all kinds of stuff. And so it's not unusual for me in a day on some of these creeks to go through 6 or 8 jig heads. So this gets a little expensive. But there are, you know, like, you know, the Yaak River or some of the lakes that I fish, that's where I'm thinking these might make a little bit more of a difference. And fishing those slightly more budget hooks, I do have some fish that get off so I'm wondering if, again, with just slightly elevated tackle, do I have a higher catch percentage from the fish that I hook up on some of those. What else we got in here? Oh, we got another football jig. Now there's the PB&J. I was looking at them like that one. And then we get into basically, you know, this is the swim bait that I use. I do have a couple other options that I like, but when it comes down to it, the Keitech Fat Swing Impact for me in 2.8 inch, it just catches more fish. Not more fish per lure. So that's the downside. So when I get these on sale, I'm like, I need to stock up a little bit. So this shad color is the color that I like. It's like a lot of these are laminated colors, but this one has essentially dark on top and then light on the bottom, and it's got just a little bit of purple in it. It really seems like it mimics a lot of the minnows and the bait fish around here. So this is sort of like my #1 color. White is always good, so I usually like to have some sort of light color, and so I went with the French Pearl in this case. I have solid white and a few other swim baits, and so I wanted this just a little bit more translucent, I guess. So, you know, not quite as just in your face white, which sometimes works, but when they're, I think for the most part, when they're hitting bright white, they're going to hit almost any white swim bait. You know, I've seen that even with like glide bait. When they're hitting white, when it hits the water, they nail it, right? And so I wanted something that maybe for when they're just a little bit pickier, that's when I'll throw this. And then this one is green pumpkin chartreuse. Chartreuse for smallmouth, it can be really good. And so I figured in some of those conditions where maybe the water gets a little dirty, just to some of the fall rains, and I want to throw the Keitech, I got that. It wasn't a huge order really. It still added up though. I mean, it's still like $80, and that was with a 20% discount. And that was sort of my mindset. I'm like, okay, well, if Keitech's on sale, I'm going to buy a bunch of Keitech because it really does seem to fish better than a lot of the other stuff that I throw. And you know, I have I have at least 3 boxes of soft plastics over there. I've been through a ton of different jigs and jig heads. There are times when any jig's going to catch fish, and just these tungsten jigs, just the way the Keitechs work on the days when you need something more finesse and where bait finesse is truly making the difference. That smaller profile of the head because it's tungsten, just the quality of the build on the Keitech stuff. These have been phenomenal. If you want to see some of the monthly fishing challenge videos, where essentially right now what I've been doing is I've been challenging myself to 24 hours to catch a fish on all the lures that the top experts recommend in a given month. I've been enjoying it because it gave me more confidence in everything that I threw in September, to the point where, honestly, the crankbait, it has become, I'm getting more and more comfortable, and there have been a lot of days where the only thing I'm catching fish on right now is crankbaits. It's been a cool experience for me, and so that's why I'm going to do it over the next 3 months. You know, September, October are great months to fish. September can be, and this was a challenging September because we just haven't had any rain. We're just now starting to get the rain. You know, as you get into November and December, it can be challenging just because it's some people start thinking of that as winter. These, assuming I don't lose a ton of them, these will probably carry me through into early December. And so if you want to see some of those videos, make sure you subscribe. And with that, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the water.